When the Spurs got the #1 pick in this past draft, giving them Victor Wembanyama, Spurs fandom was brought back to life. Again, they get the #1 pick to draft a generational big man prospect to lead the next era of Spurs basketball. Wemby, so far this season, has been good, consistently showing flashes of what made him viewed as a generational prospect. But he could be playing even better than he already has offensively and more efficient if the Spurs weren't holding him back. Now, you're wondering, how are the Spurs holding him back? Well, let's get into that. The first way is the Spurs experiment with Jeremy Sochan as their point guard. For a majority of the season, Sochan has been their starting point guard. This is evident when you look at his positions estimates so far this season. He's playing most of his minutes at point guard, which is crazy considering last season he played 95% of his minutes at power forward, which is his natural position. Jeremy Sochan can play make a little bit, so I get the Spurs trying him out at point guard to see if it works. They are a rebuilding team. Doing experiments and seeing what sticks is what rebuilding teams do, but this experiment just does not work. Sochan consistently misses when Wemby has advantages. For example, when him and Wemby run a pick and roll, Wemby would be diving wide open to the rim and he turns it over when Wemby would have a clear lane to the basket. Or when Wemby pops to the three-point line after setting a screen, he would miss him, not to mention Sochan can't really score besides in the paint. So defenses don't respect him and dare him to shoot. Sochan and Wemby running a pick and roll most of the time just does not work. And in the post, when Wemby would have a smaller defender on him or sealed his defender under the basket, Sochan would miss him there as well. These plays were constantly apparent in all of the Spurs games, and it was clear the Sochan point guard experiment was not working. But Greg Popovich continued to stick with this experiment until 5 days ago when they played the Timberwolves, where Sochan was not the starting point guard. Now, before we get into the rest of the video, I would appreciate it if you could like this video, as it helps the video perform better in the YouTube algorithm, and subscribe to the channel. I would gladly appreciate it. This leads me into my second point, which is Greg Popovich's reluctance to make Trey Jones the starting point guard. In the game I just mentioned, Trey Jones was still not the starting point guard. Instead, it was Devin Vassell. Devin Vassell is the best scorer on the Spurs, no question, but he's not the best playmaker. It's clearly Trey Jones. Trey Jones is averaging the most assists per game on the team with 5.1, while only averaging 1.4 turnovers per game. He's more consistent than Sochan, getting Wemby the ball when he has advantages. Trey hits the same passes to Wemby in the post and out of the pick and roll that Sochan doesn't, but he still plays less minutes per game than Sochan. Not to mention, Trey Jones' on-off numbers per 100 possessions are so much better than Sochan. Now, Trey Jones is not a perfect offensive player. He's not a great or efficient scorer similar to Sochan, but Trey has natural playmaking feels Sochan lacks. I appreciate you watching this video. Let me know in the comments, do you agree with the points I made or do you disagree? See you on the next one.